Following Biden's authorization for the United States to employ missiles without restrictions against Russia, an alarm has been raised today, and its scope has evidently increased. At the moment, the big embassies are closing one after another in Kiev. So here is our question for this evening. Russia. Is there an imminent threat of attack? The United States issued a statement indicating that Russia is preparing to launch a major offensive. Shortly after, the announcement came that the first United States embassy had been closed. Additionally, Spain was included in this development. Immediately after that, it came from Greece. Kazakhstan closed its embassy, and the fear of a Silime is closing embassies one after another. Let's give the closed embassies. Now we will ask what to expect. Our dear friend Anil Sural is waiting for us in Washington. Will the world breathe or not? Trump's cabinet? When we thought we were relieved with Trump, were we caught in the hail while running away from the rain? What are we going to do with this pro-Israel, pro-PKK cabinet? And now we are living through a night in which one embassy after another was closed in Kiev. What is the United States of America waiting for? And of course, Biden, who in his right mind gave such permission. Kiev to Zelensky, what is being discussed?
People in Washington are speculating and questioning why Biden took a particular action on his way there and whether he informed Donald Trump. It raises the question if Trump was also caught off guard or involved in some way. The fact that there was a lengthy 2-hour meeting indicates that Washington's experts were deeply involved in the matter.
That's precisely the question I've been contemplating all along. You see, there was also a conversation happening. During their initial meeting at the White House, you mentioned the possibility of Biden and Trump engaging in some sort of strategic maneuvering, orchestrating these acts of propriety, courtesy calls, and the like. Is it conceivable that they were subtly passing a message? Could this be another angle to consider? Furthermore, Trump shared a video wherein he made a proclamation along the lines of, "By heavens, I shall vanquish the globalists. They are on the brink of instigating a third world war, but I shall bring them to their demise before they can bring annihilation upon the world."
That is another question mark, Mr. Hurut Özel, because why didn't he mention Ukraine in this video? Why did Donald Trump, when he was making statements about everything, when he was announcing his cabinets one after the other on his social media, why didn't he react to Ukraine? This is the second issue that is being talked about in Washington. Why Donald Trump didn't react to this issue, experts say, it means that in the 2-hour meeting, the Middle East and mainly Ukraine were discussed in the statement that was already made. He said it was discussed, right? They discussed Ukraine maybe more than half an hour, 40 minutes. How can a person who discusses Ukraine for 40 minutes make this move on the weekend 3 or 4 days after this meeting? Because Biden's smiling face and Donald Trump's statements that we have made peace again, we have met again, Donald Trump's silence about this, his son's statements are not given much importance because his son can make a statement, but now there is an elected president. His son's statement is not the statement of the elected president. There is talk in Washington that Donald Trump is expected to make a statement himself because it was actually approved in September. $270 million is a little newsworthy because $1 billion in aid has gone out so far. Lastly, there is another $270 million of aid, Mr. Nurtizel. He already made an announcement about that in August. Artillery ammunition, mortar shells, unmanned aerial systems, drones, tube-launched optically wire-looking missiles, armored systems, in other words, in addition to $270 million, Donald Trump is coming to Ukraine again from Biden with 60 days to go. It is also questioned why Donald Trump is silent about this, but the Trump supporters in the United States, seen from Washington, are also angry because he announced that he would end the war in 24 hours. In this picture, the war will grow even more in 2 months. There are harsh statements both in Ukraine and from the Russian side. So what Biden wants to do is to leave a difficult seat for Donald Trump. How will he solve it? Within 24 hours from the moment he sits down, because a statement has just come from the foreign ministry. The daily press conference is over. The American embassy in Kyiv was closed, but a statement came
What are we going
as
to
if
do?
in jest. We can reopen it tomorrow. It could also remain closed. But on the other hand, there was also a warm statement, Matthew Miller, that we take the safety and security of our personnel seriously. There may be a change in our attitude today. We are following it closely. But in general terms, for security, he even gave the message to the American diplomats there to go to the shelters and hide in the shelters, which was mentioned in the US media. In other words, the US State Department, in its internal correspondence, said, shut down and hide in shelters where you can hide. Absolutely do not step outside. Leave your homes, maybe hide in shelters in much safer places. Because the US intelligence organizations say that the attack will definitely happen this evening. Maybe it may be postponed, but the latest picture right now is that in the American media, according to the information received by the US intelligence agencies, Russia will strike Ukraine this evening. This information that Russia is going to hit Ukraine was revealed by US intelligence sources. The US State Department was asked about this. It is silent on this issue, only we are protecting our personnel and diplomats in terms of security. We are following closely. Ansari Noor has similar statements. The Biden administration has approved long-range missiles on the go. But on the other hand, there are statements from the foreign ministry in the region as if to say, don't worry, nothing much will happen. But intelligence sources say that the US, their intelligence will hit Russia. How was it before? He said it in Israel and it happened. And now what he said will definitely hit, because yes, it passed with an additional package of $270 million. The Minister of Defense actually made a statement. He's taking a jab at Putin. Putin did not hit any strategic target in the 1,000-day war. He is making statements that Russia has not failed. Sounds like an escalator, Aunt Sani.